Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Press Play. I'm your host, JJ48, and today we're going to be continuing with Zelda 2 and hopefully finishing it up tonight. So, without further ado, let's get going. You might notice I'm currently level 8s all the way across in fighting, magic, and health. That is the maximum levels that you can get for these in the game. So, you might recall last week we were having some issues trying to get to the Great Palace, so that's why I leveled up over the weekend. I did also come up with there's a couple items I can find that should help us get there. Some extra lives, as well as our final heart container. I had neglected to pick up extra lives earlier because you can only pick up each one once in the game, and so it's kind of a waste to pick them up earlier, and I had forgotten about it as we headed over to when we were heading over to Great Palace. But hopefully we'll be able to pick them up now and use them to at least get ourselves there. Yeah, I don't need that. So, and hopefully if we can get to Great Palace, then we can start trying to get through it, which will be another matter altogether. And hopefully we will be able to accomplish both those tasks tonight. As you can see, here's the extra lives. They just look like a doll of Link. Not really sure who's been leaving them around, but... Fortunately, with Life 8, all the damage taking hurts a lot less than it used to. And if anybody's interested, this is pretty much how I leveled up, was I just came out here to the field, cast fire so I could damage the Tektites, and would just fight these until I leveled up. With 3 of them per screen, I'd get 150 experience every encounter, sometimes a little bit more if a P-bag dropped. And just put on a movie in the background and let it play while I hunted Tektites. Didn't take too long, less than an hour I think, from where we were. Now comes dodging these guys. Well, my rhythm is not very good at the moment. life around here. Oh well. I will at least head through the cave so we can... is this the right cave? Is there another cave? You might also notice a very important... no, this is the correct cave. Over here. A very important part of leveling up is by leveling our magic up to 8, you'll see Thunder now only costs 64 to cast. Before it cost 120. And that's very important because I believe our maximum magic now is 128, and which would mean before Thunder would take up pretty much our entire magic bar to cast. Now it only takes up half, which means we'll be able to cast it as well as some other spells, and that might give us a little bit of a better chance against the final boss, or the next to final boss. I'm not sure where that other extra life is, because I thought it was supposed to be on one of those swamp tiles, and didn't turn out being where I thought it was, so I'll at least go see if the heart container is where I thought it was. Motionless to very active very quickly. There we go, last heart container. Now, we should finally be ready to attempt the trek to Grand Palace again. We have a few extra lives, so that should give us a few more attempts to... too concerned by the loss of experience. This stuff doesn't slow you down like a swamp does. I do. I'm just gonna not take any chances and just fly through. That was actually not too bad. Alright, first cave. I think that's a first for us. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Oh, we still made it through, though. Oh, okay, there we go. These MOAs do not fly at very convenient heights. We have extra magic. I'm just gonna fly through again. Yeah, the red ones would take more hits anyway. Alright, and here we are at the Great Palace. Now, I don't know if we actually do a save and quit, if it will restart us here, but for now, if we game over within the game palace and continue, we are now, we'll be able to start here rather than making the trek back through. So we're finally here. We have our different Great Palace background music, and we're ready to try to actually go take on the final palace. There was the energy which would have blocked us from entering had we tried to do so without placing all the crystals. And one thing with this palace is it does not have any keys in it, or at least no locked doors. So we won't have to, which we wouldn't worry about anyway, because we have, well, I don't think these guys fire fireballs, so I can't really block their shots anyway. I think this is a dead-end room, but let's check. Yep, dead end. So I don't at all remember the correct path through Great Palace, so we'll just have to hope that. And these guys are not helping. Every enemy in here hits pretty tough. I should probably be using shield more often. But that's okay. For now, our goal is just to try to find... Ouch! Wow. Didn't expect to need shield against just a single enemy. this... Whoop. There's a false floor there right after the pillar. And, wow, these bots are a lot tougher than the ones we've faced before. Here we go. Guess I'll keep on trying going to the right first. This room I'm going to want to... Or is this not the room I was thinking of? Okay, this actually is not the room that I was thinking of. There's some rooms that are similar to this, but have these knights similar to Iron Knuckles, except they have these guys. They have like they jump around a lot and have bird heads. And I have no interest in staying to fight those guys. So. That was not correct. Sometimes those hide magic containers. In this case, they did not. I thought one of these places had a giant bubble. He doesn't have a magic container here. Okay, so... Ah! Almost made it to the next room. Alright, and just like that, our extra lives are gone. So, it's a good thing we got them. We're at least getting a bit of exploration out of them. Hopefully we can remember this path for, if we die at the boss. This guy is the one I do not care to talk to. Ha, I can jump higher than you can. I was worried someone was gonna be on the other side of that. Oh, this is the fake boss room. Putting up the curtains or the bunting at the top to make you think you're encountering the boss room, and really it's just a fancier than normal room. Oh, come on. Not good. Really use a, like a magic refill or something at the moment. Nope. I wonder if that one can ever be a magic refill. It might be worth trying one more time just to see. Yes, alright. In fact, let's try that again. Apparently it's a one-time use statue. It's worth a shot. We are looking a little better on life than we were before, at least. And speaking of which, I think we'll be looking even better here. Which, had I known this room was next, I probably would not have. I probably would have just filled up on my magic and not cast life. So we have path to the left, or we can continue down. I'm going to try down, coming to another one of these junction rooms. That's a dead end that way. Okay. This room, I think, has a false floor, if I can find it. There we go. So the good news is, so far, I do believe I'm on the right track, and there is probably my favorite enemy in the game, the giant bot, who sadly only stays a giant bot for until you hit him once, and then he explodes into tons of little bots. But yes, I'm certain that we are on the correct path now. And no giant bot in that one. Okay, excuse me. So here we are. We have reached the boss's room of this dungeon. I am actually going to have to take a death because in order to even damage the boss, we need to cast Thunder once. And as you can see, Thunder costs 64. Each of our boxes is 16, so we have about 50. And I'm pressing the cast button, nothing happening. So I'm going to have to take a death. Do have one life extra, and after we die to the Thunderbird, hopefully we'll be able to beat him on the next life. Come on. If not, then we get to play through the dungeon all over again. Okay, gonna do shield and reflect. Reflect will allow the fireballs he spits, if they hit my shield at least, they'll be blocked. And you can see casting Reflect, he now has a face that we can try to hit, although I'm doing a very poor job of it. Okay, let's get up there. Okay, one hit in, and we still have half of our life left. Great. what I'm trying to do is get him into a kind of a pendulum pattern. So that his fireballs aren't all concentrated right where we need to be. And we managed to beat Thunderbird. Whew. Unfortunately, we're not quite over yet. Hopefully, I can beat the next room with less than 2 bars of life. Okay, background change. And little orange Yoda has the Triforce of Courage. And we face off against Shadow Link. This is kind of a really cheap strategy, but it's usually effective, and this low on health, I really don't want to play through this palace all over again. So, if it lets me get one more shot in on Shadow Link, I will do it. And there we go. Alright, so little orange Yoda gives us the Triforce. And now that we have the Triforce of Courage, we can go use apparently all 3 Triforces to go wake up the Elder Original Zelda, who will have no idea who we are and will not know anybody in this kingdom. But she still thinks we're a real hero. Good job, Link. Alright. So that was Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. And as you can see, the story was still fairly basic, although it was a little bit more... They definitely took some efforts to try to make the palaces more unique. Tried to... having to go and set the crystals in the palaces, because we're trying to undo the curse, is at least a little bit different than going and trying to collect all the pieces that we were doing last game. Overall, let's see, the first game we had, we just had a little bit of a setup, played the game. This game, we had a little bit more into a historic reason for going through. And let's give the... I guess I can get things set up and we can actually start looking at A Link to the Past and look at how the story develops from here. Okay, is there anything if I... Okay, nice. Little Triforce showing that we beat the game. So, what I'm going to do is I do have... I did get the next set of instructions ready so that we can start going through it. This went by much faster than I anticipated, so we will actually be talking primarily about Link to the Past tonight. And as usual, we're going to start with the... excuse me just a second. We're going to be starting by looking through the manual for the story, which I will be posting the link in the chat. For viewers on YouTube, it'll be in the video description. And Let's get into it. Let's see. Okay, so this one, we start off going back a little bit further to the Legends of Hyrule. And to set the stage for this adventure of the legendary hero of Hyrule, it will be informative to delve into the Triforce myth, an ancient epic about the creation of the world that is still believed in the land of Hyrule. Every culture has such myths and theories about the creation of their worlds, and it can be beneficial and entertaining to examine them in detail, for they often affect the present-day social structure. The legends say the mythical gods of Hyrule had as their chosen people the Hylia. These ancient people left scrolls that are the primary source of the legends. So right away we kind of see that the story's going much further back than we've seen before. We're going into I mean, the next section is the creation of Hyrule. We're getting a creation myth here, and a lot more information and world building, uh, quite literally in this case, than we saw in the previous games. I'd also like to point out here that I believe the usage of the word myth here is not well in modern times we often use myth to just mean like a false story. Um, like you think of the television show Mythbusters. They're going out to try to see if something is a myth or as opposed to a fact. I don't believe that's the usage here. In the traditional sense, a myth was just kind of a very important story, and some of them could be false. It could be a completely false story, but you could have a true story and it could still be a myth, just from the significance placed on it. So, of course, being a video game, I this is a false story or not a real story, but if people within the fictional world refer to it as their own creation myth or something, that doesn't mean that they necessarily, that the characters within that world necessarily believe it false. So, continuing on. According to the Hylian scrolls, the mythical gods descended from a distant nebula to the world that was and created order and life. So, interesting that they didn't create the entire universe, just uh, the particular planet, apparently. The god of power dyed the mountains red with fire and created land. The god of wisdom created science and wizardry and brought order to nature. And the god of courage, through justice and vigor, created life, the animals that crawl the land and the birds that soar in the sky. No mention of the fish in the oceans. After the gods had finished their work, they left the world, but not before creating a symbol of their strength, a golden triangle known as the Triforce. A small but powerful portion of the essence of the gods was held in this mighty artifact, which was to guide the intelligent life on the world of Hyrule. Okay, so here we see, I believe this is our first explanation as to what the Triforce actually is. In the previous two games, we just had that the Triforce was this powerful artifact, or uh, were powerful artifacts, plural. Um, Here we get that it's basically each of the three pieces is left over from one of the gods that had a hand in creating the world. So, although it was an inanimate object, the Triforce had the power to bestow three titles which gave the person who received them great powers: the Forger of Strength, the Keeper of Knowledge, and the Juror of Courage. It's interesting. Uh, Interesting that before, during the creation of the world, we had the God of Courage created life through justice and vigor, and now we have this hero of courage, or this champion of courage would be known as the Juror of Courage. So it's within Hyrule, at least, it seems that uh, courage is associated with judgment as well as just simple bravery. From its hiding place in the so-called Golden Land where the gods placed it, the Triforce beckoned people from the outside world to seek it in the hope that someone worthy of the these titles would find it. With their magic-infused blood, the Hylian people were endowed with psychic powers and skill in wizardry. It was also said that their long, pointed ears enabled them to hear special messages from the gods, so they were held in high esteem by many people in Hyrule. Their descendants settled in various parts of the world and passed on their knowledge and magical lore to all people. But in its passing, the lore was often distorted or lost altogether. Excuse me. So far we have the world has been created. The Triforce has been left behind by the gods, and the Hylians are the people who seem most in tune with the Triforce and with the gods, and are the ones kind of keeping these legends alive. All right, Gates to the Golden Land. In Hyrule, there are many Hylian buildings which are mentioned repeatedly in the legends. These buildings, which now lie in ruin, pale shadows of their former splendor, are closely tied to the Triforce. Some were said to house the Triforce itself. If it were only a symbol of the gods, the Triforce would be coveted by many. Uh, I'm assuming they mean that even if it were just a symbol of the gods, it would still be coveted by many. But a verse from the Book of Medora, a collection of Hylian legends and lore, made the Triforce even more desirable. In a realm beyond sight, the sky shines gold not blue. There the Triforce's might makes mortal dreams come true. Many aggressively searched for the wish-granting Triforce, but no one, not even the Hylian sages, was was sure of its location. The knowledge had been lost over time. Some said the Triforce lay under the desert. Others said that it was in the cemetery in the shadow of Death Mountain, but no one ever found it. It's only two places to check, it sounds like. That yearning for the Triforce soon turned to lust for power, which in turn led to the spilling of blood. Soon the only motive left among those searching for the Triforce was pure greed. One day, quite by accident, a gate to the golden land of the Triforce was opened by a gang of thieves skilled in the black arts. This land was like no other. In the gathering twilight, the Triforce shone from its resting place high above the world. In a long-running battle, the leader of the thieves fought his way past his followers in lust for the golden power. After vanquishing his own followers, the leader stood triumphant over the Triforce and grasped it with his blood-stained hands. He heard a whispered voice, "If thou hast a strong desire or dream, wish for it." And in reply, the roaring laughter of the brigand leader echoed across time and space and even reached the far-off land of Hyrule. The name of this king of thieves is Ganondorf Dragmire, but he is known by his alias Mandrag Ganon, which means Ganon of the Enchanted Thieves. All right, and so here we have an origin story of Ganon. He's not just some random pig guy who uh, happened to conquer Hyrule. He apparently is a somebody who actually found the Triforce and got great power from it. I do not know what Ganon wished for from the Triforce. Switch to first person. However, in time, evil power began to flow from the Golden Land, and greedy men were drawn there to become members of Ganon's army. Black clouds permanently darkened the sky, and many disasters beset Hyrule. The Lord of Hyrule sent for the 7 wise men and the knights of Hyrule and ordered them to seal the entrance to the Golden Land. The Triforce, being an inanimate object, cannot judge between good and evil. Therefore, it could not know that Ganon's wishes were evil, it merely granted them. Suspecting that Ganon's power was based on the Triforce's magic, the people of Hyrule forged a sword resistant to magic, which could repulse even powers granted by the Triforce. This mighty weapon became known as the Blade of Evil's Bane, or the Master Sword. It was so powerful that only one who was pure of heart and strong of body could wield it. As the 7 wise men searched for a valiant person to take up the Master Sword, Ganon's evil army swarmed from the tainted Golden Land into Hyrule and attacked the castle. The wise men and the knights of Hyrule combined forces to wage war on this evil horde. The knights took the full brunt of the fierce attack, and although they fought courageously, many a brave soul was lost that day. However, their lives were not lost in vain. Excuse me just a second. Um, for they bought precious time for the 7 wise men to magically seal Ganon in the Golden Land. All of Hyrule rejoiced at the victory that upheld peace and order over Ganon's evil and chaos. This war, which had claimed many lives, became known as the Imprisoning War in stories told in later centuries. The Coming of the Wizard. Many centuries have passed since the Imprisoning War. The land of Hyrule healed its wounds, and the people lived in peace for a long time. Memories of the vicious Imprisoning War faded over the generations. So it is no surprise that no one was prepared for the new disasters that have recently struck Hyrule. Pestilence and drought, uncontrollable even by magic, ravaged the land. The king of Hyrule, after council with his sages, ordered an investigation of the imprisoned Dark World, as the Golden Land had come to be known. But the wise men's seal was apparently intact. He offered rewards for anyone who could find the source of these troubles. In answer to these summons, a stranger named Aghanim came and quelled the disasters with a previously unseen form of magic. As a reward, the king gave him a new position as chief advisor. I mean, just look at him. He looks so advisorish and trustworthy. And heir to the 7 wise men. The masses proclaimed him their hero. Peace had returned to Hyrule. Or had it? Of late, rumors have traveled their whispering path with alarming frequency. Rumors saying Aghanim now rules the country with his magic. Rumors of strange magical experiments in the castle tower at night. The people of Hyrule were gripped by dread. One night, now we're finally to the prologue. One night, a girl's voice awakens you from your sleep. "Help me, my name is Zelda. I am in the castle dungeon," she telepathically pleads. You jump out of bed, not knowing whether the voice was part of a dream or reality. Upon leaving your bed, you find your uncle, who should be fast asleep at this time, preparing to go out, girded for battle. "I'll be back by morning," he says as he departs. "Don't leave the house." You watch him leave with the family sword in hand and shield on arm. This is a night like no other. Who is Zelda? Where had your uncle gone, and for what reason? And so, on an ill-fated night, a new chapter in the legend of Hyrule's hero begins, a new chapter in the legend of Zelda. Is there an equivocation there? We have the legend of Hyrule's hero being the legend of Zelda. Does that mean Zelda is Hyrule's hero? And just in summary, so our quest is the Golden Land of the Triforce has become a dark world corrupted by Ganon's evil wishes. However, this is not enough for Ganon. He also wants to make Hyrule, the light world, his own. To do this, he needs to break the seal of the 7 wise men. But he cannot do this with his power alone. He must also use the life force of the descendants of the 7 wise men. With Aghanim the wizard as his pawn, this is about to become a reality. Thus the late-night experiments in the castle tower. You, as the legendary hero of Hyrule, must enter the Dark World on a quest to save the maidens that Aghanim has sent there. The aim of the game is to solve the many mysteries and adventures that await you along the way to rescuing the maidens, defeating Ganon, and returning peace to Hyrule. Okay. So with that bit of a backstory, one thing I'm interested in as we look through this story is, unlike the previous one, this is not a direct sequel to the previous games. And in fact, the fact that this is giving us information about Ganon and how he kind of got started out, as well as the fact that the Triforce is just kind of on its own. It's not, as opposed to in the future games, or in the games that we've been playing, where it was in the keeping of the royal family. This makes me think that either this game is a prequel and takes place before the other games, or else it's a complete reboot. Oh, just a second, my TV's about to shut off because I have been streaming from the computer, not the console, for a little while. Okay. So we have, and I don't know if it's ever particularly made clear within the game, but we'll see if we can see any indication of whether it's whether we think that it takes place in the same universe as the previous games and it just takes place earlier in time, or if we think that this is a reboot and completely kind of completely separate from the previous games. So, and again, we also see that there's a lot more story here, a lot more going on behind the scenes before we even get to the prologue. So, yeah, they're really kind of stepping up their storytelling game a little bit. All right, so let me see if I can get this working. Okay, good. With that, let's start A Link to the Past. And again, we'll reset as usual so we can get the And for those of you who are unfamiliar, this game is on the Super Nintendo rather than the original Nintendo, so that's why the graphics look considerably better. Okay, long ago in the beautiful kingdom of Hyrule, surrounded by mountains and forests. Oh, I'm sorry, let me start this over because I forgot to switch my stream. Terribly sorry about that. Alright, you should be able to see things now. There we go. Hopefully this is better. Okay, yeah, terribly sorry about that. Not used to doing the story streams in the middle and then having to switch between them. So, okay, long ago in the beautiful kingdom of Hyrule, surrounded by mountains and forests, legends told of an omnipotent and omniscient golden power that resided in a hidden land. Actually, it was an inanimate object, so I'm not sure about the omniscient part. Many people aggressively sought to enter the hidden golden land, but no one ever returned. One day, evil power began to flow from the golden land. So the king commanded 7 wise men to seal the gate to the land of the golden power. That seal should have remained for all time. But when these events were obscured by the mists of time and became legend, yeah, we're getting full. The king is not looking well. A mysterious wizard known as Aghanim came to Hyrule to release the seal. He eliminated the good king of Hyrule and just left him in his throne? Through evil magic, he began to make descendants of the 7 wise men vanish, one after another. And the time of destiny for Princess Zelda is drawing near. Okay. So, thinking of how the game is telling the story. Okay. This. One thing I noticed is in the previous games, when it would tell the backstory, we pretty much just had kind of a text scroll. Here we were actually getting images. We were at the end even kind of getting moving cutscenes and sprite animations. We're getting a little bit more active in the a little more activity in the storytelling. Help me, please help me. I am a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle. My name is Zelda. The wizard Aghanim has done something to the other missing girls. Now only I remain. So Aghanim has seized control of the castle and is now trying to open the Seven Wise Men's seal, and Zelda is in the dungeon of the castle. Okay. Presumably this is our uncle talking. I'm going out for a while. I'll be back by morning. Don't leave the house. Why do both of us live in a house that apparently only has a bed for one of us? Does Uncle just sleep on the stump chair there? There's not even a back to the chair. That would be horribly uncomfortable to sleep on. Alright, we got a lamp, so we can light torches and see our way in the darkness. And one other thing here is this is the first time in the Zelda series that we actually have chests that we are getting items out of. Before that, items in the previous two games, items were just sitting on the ground. Right. Uncle said not to leave the house, but I think we're going to because otherwise we'll just be sitting here for a long time with nothing happening, which would make for a pretty boring stream. Okay, the guards don't like that we're up late. Only grown-ups are allowed to stay up late. I don't think that's your call. That's for my parent or guardian to decide. But did Uncle say he was going to? Okay. Help me. I'm in the dungeon of the castle. You know, there's a hidden path from outside the castle to the garden inside. Okay. Say, go home and get some sleep. No, I don't think I want to do that. You know, the guards are very insistent that I stay away, but they're not actually taking any action to make me do so. They're just kind of generally grouchy. Yes, I woke up and immediately started smashing the pots. As I do in my own house when I wake up, I immediately throw any containers onto the floor so I can gather their contents. I make sure to have breakable things placed near my bed with stuff I'm going to need for the next day inside, just so I can do that. I didn't want you involved in this. I told you not to leave the house. Yeah, but that was boring, so... Take my sword and shield and listen. You can focus power in the blade. Hold the B button. I don't know if I've ever actually told somebody in real life to hold a button to do something. Without there actually being a physical button that needed to be held. Then release it using the secret technique handed down by our people. You can do it. Save the princess. Zelda is your... What? Our liege? Our sister? Only hope? I don't know. Okay, well. So if we hold down B... spin around. That is, spinning is the secret technique passed down in our family. No one else ever figured out how to spin before. Guards, incredibly unobservant. Hit him, still not concerned at all. Okay. Might as well loot the castle while we're here. Okay, this guard considerably more observant. Not really much more effective, but must have been when playing some Oblivion there. Then again, I noticed the guys that charge at me have a like full broadsword or something. These guys seem to have little daggers. Maybe they're actually hoping that nobody will come and fight them. They know they're going to die if they end up in a fight, so they're just hoping, okay, if I just pretend I don't see him, maybe he won't come and fight me. Alright, the map. We can use it to see your current position and the rest of the dungeon. Press X. Oh wow, we have a nice map with multiple floors on it. Okay, so that's a pit. Thank you for helping us establish that, Mr. Guard. Probably do not want to walk in there. Well, I'm doing a very good job of running into the guards as I attempt to use a ranged attack against them. Alright, we got a boomerang. So, to switch the boomerang... Alright, the big key is the master key of the dungeon. It can open many locks that small keys cannot. This is also the first time in the series that we see this differentiation of keys. Okay, she saw that I was just going after the chest and wasn't going to talk to her, so she took the initiative. Okay, thank you. Listen carefully. The wizard is magically controlling all the soldiers in the castle. I fear the worst for your father. Yeah, we saw him during the opening cutscene. Did not look good. The wizard is an inhuman fiend with strong magical powers. Do I understand? I what is there to not understand? Okay, let's get out of here before the wizard notices. I know a secret path, but first we have to get to the first floor. Okay. Thought who was the uncle? We saw the uncle gave us our sword and shield. We saw the king during the cutscene sitting on the throne and looking like a skeleton. At least I assume that was the king. Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think he's supposed to be our uncle, not our father. If she said sorry about her father, then I guess she's either mistaken or our family tree's looking really bizarre. There's a secret passage in the throne room that leads to the sanctuary. I'm sure the old man there will help us. Alright, you guards don't need to worry. I am just trying to remove the princess from the palace without anybody in the royal family or of the guards knowing, and without permission. That ornamental shelf should open. Do you have a light? It's pitch dark inside and you can't see without one. Push it from the left. I mean, I hate to break this to you, Princess. As soon as we go through here, it is going to be immediately obvious to anybody who comes in to this room which way we left, but then again, I guess the guards aren't the brightest I've ever seen, so that's not what I want. There we go. That'll help a little bit. And the first one went out. This one's going to go out soon. I just want to kill all these rats because they seem to have money, and we're probably going to need a bunch of money as we go along. See, this is exactly why I don't like getting critters in my house, because facing small little critters is much harder than facing large armored guards. Those guys we were taking out pretty easily. These things very hard to hit and do a bit of damage to us before we finally get them. After passing through the sewers, we will be very close to the sanctuary. Let's be careful. See, I was not having anywhere near this much trouble with the guards. Yeah, these ones I needed to kill to make sure I got the key. Alright, now we're in the very bright part of the escape way from the sewers. And here we see, remember in the first game we would just kind of have to bomb random walls and hope that they try to find out which ones are bombable. Here we get this nice visual indicator of where bombs can go. Unfortunately, we don't have any bombs at the moment. Although, I guess it makes sense that the rats are harder to kill than the guards, because the rats seem to be much better paid than the guards. Sanctuary's just beyond that door. Pull the switch over. Which switch? There's appear to be two of them. You have to pull the lever to open the door. Okay. So we grab on, pull it. Here we go. Princess Zelda, you're safe. Is this your doing, JJ48? I guess he's probably not disappointed. He's probably happy. Yes. He helped me escape from the dungeon when I was captive. The wizard said, "Once I've finished with you, the final one, the seal of the wise men will open. You must not let the land of Hyrule fall into the wizard's clutches. If he releases the seal of the seven wise men, evil power will overwhelm this land. Before that happens, before it's too late, destroy the wizard before he destroys all of Hyrule. You can do it. You can." I sense that a mighty evil force guides the wizard's actions and augments his magical power. The only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard is the legendary Master Sword. It is said that the village elder is a descendant of one of the seven wise men. Maybe he can tell you more. I will mark his house on your map. Watch your every move. I am certain that the castle soldiers will be looking for you now. I'll hide Princess Zelda here. Do not worry. Seek the elder. Yes, I understand. There we go. Found a heart container. Our heart level increased. Do I think this is an easier game than the last Zelda game? If so, might this be a reboot for a new and younger generation? I will confess, I have not really played this one that much. I did not have a Super Nintendo growing up, so I can't really judge it directly. I do know, what did the copyright say on this? 91 or 92, something like that. And the other Zelda games came out in 86 and 87, so it had been about 5 years or so since the previous Zelda game, and So a reboot would make sense for this. It wouldn't necessarily have to be like a direct continuation of the story. Let's see, what's this guy? Might have an interesting destiny. May I tell your fortune? Sure, tell me my fortune. You don't look suspicious at all. Hocus Pocus, you will find the Elder Sahasrara. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me where. I thought you were going to be helpful, not just tell me something I already knew. So another thing with this... Whoop. Why were you hiding in the grass, dude? So another thing this game had is the chickens, if you hit them with your sword, they will become nervous. If you keep hitting them with your sword... I think this game has it. For a very, very long time. We start getting swarms of chickens that come and attack us. This is something that will be a kind of a staple in the Zelda series. The music is back to the original. Yes, it is using the original theme, or at least a remix of it. Although now we have a different theme as we go into the forest. Oh, dude, get away. Where do I want to go? Okay. There's a mushroom here. I can give the mushroom that smells like sweet rotten fruit to anybody who wants it. I'm sure I'll have so many takers on that. We found a piece of heart. If we collect 4 of them, we get a full heart container. So one thing I was saying is we also have different music for different areas. Kind of had this a little bit in Zelda 2, where the towns had a different music, and the action areas, the caves and overworld had different music. But here, like being in the woods, we have different music than we do walking around out here. Oh, okay. Right there by Sahasrara's house. Kakariko Village, this way. Wow. Wanted, this is the criminal who kidnapped Zelda. Call a soldier if you see it. 1, that is not a very good likeness of me. The nose is far too long. And 2, this wanted poster went up really quickly. I mean, seriously, we kidnapped Zelda, what, 10 minutes ago? Who? Oh, it's you. What can I do for you, young man? The elder? Oh no. No one has seen him since the wizard began collecting victims. Uh-oh. Master Sword? Well, I don't remember the details exactly, but long ago, a prosperous people known as the Hylia inhabited this land. Legends tell of many treasures that the Hylia hid throughout the land. The Master Sword, a mighty blade forged against those with evil hearts, is one of them. People say that now it is sleeping deep in the forest. Do I understand this? Man, people really like asking me if I understand stuff. Anyway, look for the Elder. There must be someone in the village who knows where he is. Take care now. Thank you for not turning me into the guards. I have no idea what this these green bowls on the tables are supposed to be. If that's supposed to be like a soup or just a centerpiece or what. Okay, so somebody in town should know something about where the elder is. Yo, this house used to be a hideout for a gang of thieves. What was their leader's name? Oh yeah, his name was Blind, and he hated bright light a lot. Hence the windows through which plenty of bright light can stream. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go buy some bombs so I can come back and blow that up and see what's in there. The thing is, I don't remember where there is You, sir, have you been going through life without one of my hold anything bottles? Step right up and make your life complete. I've got one on sale now for the low, low price of 100 rupees. Can it hold bombs? Yes, I'll take one, because I assume it's stuffed with bombs. Goodbye, thanks a lot. Now hold it over your head for the whole world to see, okay? It's good for it. And there's no bombs. Wow, I just bought your entire stock, huh? Okay. What about this lady? Hey, here's JJ48, the wanted man. Soldiers, anyone come quick. Lady, that was not helpful. Look, because a soldier's now dead. You happy with yourself, lady? Elder, are you talking about the grandpa? Okay, but I don't tell any of the bad people about this. But don't tell any of the bad people. He's hiding in the palace past the castle. I will mark the spot on your map. Okay, wow, he's way over there. Oh, I was going to mention about the attacking the chickens. On the one hand, okay, yes. On the one hand, I've heard people claim that it was the first time in the Zelda series that this game was the first time that we had the attacking chickens thing. On the other hand, I couldn't help but notice in Zelda 2 that the final palace, the Great Palace, was full of bird-themed enemies. We had the bird knights, we had the birds that spat out fire, we had Thunderbird. So if these games are sequential, I wonder if maybe the birds were chosen to be the guardians of the final palace because of being mishandled by Link all the time. Not to mention the Triforce would be safe with them because the birds would be too chicken to use it. Okay, what about you? Are you gonna... you're just gonna run away from me? Oh, the rumors say I kidnapped the princess, but you still trust me. Thank you. Just for that, let me leave a bomb in your house. You're welcome. Second thought, maybe stealing arrows from the lady who just said that she trusts me isn't the most heroic thing we could have done, but can't go out because I'm sick. People say I caught this cold from the evil air that is coming down off the mountain. This is my bug catching net. I'll use it when I'm better, but for now I'll lend it to you. Oh, okay. Thank you. So we could have gotten a bottle for free, and we paid the guy 100 rupees for one. Okay. I feel a little bit scammed. Sorry about the yard, it's a little overgrown. Thanks for visiting. Glad to have company to talk to. I'll tell you an interesting story. There is a lake swimming with Zoras at the source of the river, but it is hard to find. The treasure of Zora can turn people into fish. Heh, I'd love to see that. Okay, sounds interesting. Though I would point out that you might have more people visiting and talking to you if you cut down the bushes in front of your door. This isn't even just tall grass. I mean, look, there's a stump and everything. Sorry. Oh, and you're also going to turn me into the guards. Fortunately, people scream about seeing a wanted criminal. Just one weak guard comes to respond. Seems pretty reasonable. Oh, here's where we get some free bombs. I think we've seen just about everything in the village. Unless there's anybody... your son really liked to play the flute, but he went to look for the golden power and has not returned. Wonder where he is and what he's doing now. And now you're sleeping. Saw her, a very nice young lady at the waterfall of Wishing, in the hills where the river begins. You should meet her at least once. I'm sure you will like her. Okay. Keep an eye out. So I don't think I ever noticed, like I said, I didn't really play this game much growing up. This is, the music that's actually used here is the same song that will be used in future Legend of Zeldas as their town theme. Let's go see what's this way. Okay, there's a door we can't open. Excuse me again. Alright, we have a dwarf. hammering what appears to be a large stromboli. If my lost partner returns, we can temper your sword, but now I can't do anything for you. Oh, how sad. Well, enjoy your dinner, I guess. Anything to help? Just the guard and the chicken. Oh, lots of books. Including one up on the top shelf that some tall person rudely placed up there so that short people like us would just be taunted by it. Yeah, now I'm quarreling with my younger brother. I sealed the door to his room. Well, yeah, I can't get over there unless I go through that door, so, I'm gonna have to blow it open, sorry. So the doorway is open again. Okay, maybe I should make up with my brother. Okay. We all learned a valuable lesson that explosives bring us closer together. Hey, did you come from my older brother's room? Is he still angry? No. He said that, now that there's a hole in your wall, you are allowed to leave and are not trapped here permanently anymore. If you can reach the goal within 15 seconds, we'll give you something good. Ready, set, go. Where's the goal? Try this time was 0 minutes and 9 seconds. Qualified. Congratulations. I present you with a piece of heart. Alright, so we got our 4th heart piece, so we got a full heart container. So even if you took every single wrong path, is there ever a time when it's going to need to use the minutes part of that counter? Pay me 20 rupees, I'll let you open one chest, you can keep what is inside. Wow, with an intro like that, this is practically begging to be scammed. I don't even know if there are any prizes worth more than 20 rupees. He could have just put a single rupee in every chest and just be making 19 rupees off of everybody who comes in, but we'll go for it. I'll go for this one. Okay, hey, that wasn't the scam I thought it was. Thank you, dude. Hey, dude. Can I talk to you? Okay. I wonder if that was the son that we were told earlier liked to play music in the woods. But he disappeared. And all the animals ran away. hey, we're back to our house. I can't help but notice the knights are no longer just telling me to go home and stay inside. They're now trying to kill me. Uncle is still not back from being slain, so... Okay, so we just need to go over, cross the bridge, and head up there. So another thing I'm noticing about this game so far is there's a lot more dialogue, and in particular a lot more meaningful dialogue. In Zelda 2, a lot of the conversations we had were rather limited. It was usually just kind of one panel of text. Here there's a lot more people telling us stories that go on for page after page after page. So we're able to have a little bit more of a longer conversation with folks in this game. Okay. Hey, it's Sahasrahla, the village elder, and a descendant of the Seven Wise... Descendant of all seven of them? So there were a lot of intermarrying going on in the families. Really, JJ48, I'm surprised a young man like you is searching for the Sword of Evil's Bane. Not just anyone can use that weapon. Legends say only the hero who has won the 3 pendants can wield the sword. Do you really want to find it? Yes. Good. As a test, can you retrieve the Pendant of Courage from the East Palace? If I bring it here, you'll tell more of the legend and give me a magical artifact. Okay. First, I'm going to bomb a hole in your wall, though. Because I noticed there were some cracks in it, and that's what you do when a wall has a crack in it, is you plant a bomb in it. Are you the Super Nintendo version of the Armos Knights? Alright, so we have to go get a green pendant from... Oh. We have to get a pendant from that palace, and it looks like there's other pendants in the other palaces. And I'm guessing that's where the Master Sword is, up in the woods there. Okay. This was a dead end. I want to see what these... Okay, so we do have some gargoyle things on the outside here, as well as the birds' heads or something down there. And inside we have these weird one-eyed monsters. There are statues of them. Do I want to go through there? Yeah, let's explore this way first. Okay, let's not explore that way. Where that? Okay, I guess there's only one way we can go. Alright, some weird tentacle things on the floor. I thought there might be another stairway over there. There was not. Let's try going to the right first. Right, we got a map. Okay, so this actually is rather helpful if we want to try to make sure that we fully clear the dungeons. And having this map show us which rooms we have and have not been to will be very helpful indeed. Need to step on the switch. Just a fair warning, I'm going to be stepping on a lot of switches in this game, and this game was made by Nintendo, but please do not step on a Nintendo Switch yourself. It is very expensive, and they are not made to be stepped on. Can't help but notice Stalfos jump a lot more than they did in the first couple games. Alright, the compass. We can pinpoint the lair of the dungeon's evil master. Okay, so it's going to be on the second floor. Alright, Sahasrara can talk to us telepathically when we touch these tiles. Here's a hint, you can use the treasure hidden in this palace to defeat armored foes. Okay, good to know. Oh, I see what we need to do. It's locked. If we had a big key, we might be able to open it. Well, we're getting a lot of arrows. Kind of wish we had a bow that we could use them with, but... Oh well, can't have everything. Do you guys mind not following me? Hello, and welcome to the stream. We are just starting A Link to the Past and trying to discern if it is part of the same story or a brand new story within the Zelda universe. Well, it's a brand new story. Is it the same universe or is it a different universe, essentially? Okay, we got the big key. Now we can go open that big chest that we saw. Okay, so these monsters look similar, but not identical to the large statues there. Hey, we found a bow. Oh, and we have Stalfos that are losing their heads. Excuse me. What's down here? Fairies. Right. Notice how the once we find the big key, we can keep using the big key over and over on all the big key doors and chests and everything. The small keys still go away after one use. And when I say that about the big key, I mean like within a particular dungeon. Here we go. Also, I do appreciate that now we have actual arrows that we're collecting rather than just using a rupee every time we want to fire one. And here, speaking of rupees, bad bounce there. And we start back at the very beginning of the dungeon. Fortunately, this dungeon's not very large. Look, could you guys at least pretend to be intimidated by my sword? I don't think I need to go into the secret rupee room again. Kind of have quite a few rupees already. And it wasn't really that big of a secret. Okay, well, I'm getting plenty of arrows. I was kind of hoping to get some more health. So this is interesting. In the first two games, the blue enemies were tougher than the red enemies. Here, apparently the red enemies are tougher than the blue enemies. Remember, the blue ones of these guys only took one arrow each, and this guy took two. I was at full health. I should have fought these guys before opening up the jars. Right. We beat the Dancing Armos Knights, picked up the green pendant, and we can go talk to Sahasrara. And that might be a good place to end the stream tonight. We won the Pendant of Courage. 2 pendants remain. But it was not the Triforce of Courage, so we are not yet the Juror of Courage. Oh, got the Pendant of Courage. Now he'll tell us more of the legend. 3 or 4 generations ago, an order of knights protected the royalty of the Hylia. These Knights of Hyrule were also guardians of the Pendant of Courage. Unfortunately, most of them were destroyed in the Great War against Evil that took place when the 7 Wise Men created their seal. Okay, so the Great Wise Men placed the seal only 3 or 4 generations ago. Among the descendants of the Knights of Hyrule, a hero must appear. I see. JJ48, I believe you. You should get the remaining penance and carry this with you. This is a treasure passed down by the families of the wise men. I want you to have it. We got the Pegasus boots. Now we can execute a devastating dash attack. Hold the A button for a short time. A helpful item is hidden in the cave on the east side of Lake Hylia. Get it. Alright, now we have the boots. We'll be able to run everywhere. Well, I was going to quit. We still have about 10 minutes left. I can go get the cave on the east side of Lake Hylia. I think I know how to get there. There's a few places we can check along the way. Octoroks actually got a little more irritating since previous games because their projectiles seem to travel a lot faster. What's this way? Excuse me. She'll soothe our wounds and comfort our weariness. Thank you, even though I was only missing half a heart. Okay, another vendor. Good. Excuse me. Let's see. This is Lake Hylia. This is another scam artist. So sometimes the bombable walls, you can break them by running into them, but I don't know what the difference is between the ones that you can and the ones you can't. Okay, another fairy fountain. Fairy population here is pretty high. Take some rupees, but don't tell anyone I gave them to you. Keep it between us, okay? Alright, it's this game's version of the it's a secret from everybody guy. I hope you don't mind, I also took some arrows and bombs in addition to rupees. Okay, don't hit those guys. This sounds like this is another fairy fountain. And this is the first game where we can catch fairies in bottles. Which kind of raises some troubling questions about the, I guess, like the personhood of fairies. Can not get out of here? Okay. And we found the ice rod. It's chill magic blast the air, but watch your magic meter. Right, we have a... in the original Legend of Zelda, we had the magic wand that just shot generic magic. This shoots specifically ice magic. Which freezes enemies so we can pick them up and throw them. Alright, so with that... we can still kill him. With that, I think we've made a pretty good start to the game. We've found... we've heard the legend of the Seven Sages sealing now the Darkland away, and found out that the wizard Aghanim is trying to weaken that seal so that Ganon can escape. We now know that our quest is we need to get the 3 pendants so that we can get the Master Sword and go against Aghanim, and next week we will continue that quest. So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you have a very good week and a good night. Bye now.